9:10 a.m. Take a motion to approve the March 3rd agenda.
To approve. Second.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Great. Approval of the March or February 3rd minutes.
Approve.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
For the public, don't see anybody. Let's move right along. Uniform policy. Wherever you want to start.
All right, so, there was some discussion about our current policy, and what we're looking for is to add some equity between drivers and, the maintenance staff. So currently, let's see if I can run this with this today. What we'll do is we'll start, everybody's got this page here with the 4 blocks. That one, yep. So the current driving staff, for all year round staff, have, uniforms that are shirt, jacket, vest, and hat. All drivers are required to wear their uniforms during work. And currently we have a reimbursement of $60 per year. Our proposed policy is that we, include all the same, uniform items. And that, they're well on duty. So there's a little more verbiage in here about seasonal drivers and maintenance staff being issued uniforms under the direction of their supervisor. And then drivers and maintenance staff will be reimbursed up to $75 per calendar year for purchase of pants, shorts, and work appropriate footwear, which is different than what we had in the original as well, for the drivers. And then, any replacement or additional uniform items due to wear, damage, or oil changes will be addressed by the supervisor as well. Work type boots and the work type boots that provide over the ankle support, steel-toed boots are not required, which is also currently in our policy, but they are recommended. And then we get into a little bit more detail on the soles, being oil and slip resistant, and that hiking boots are permissible. That's pretty simple changes, and we're only looking to add $15 more and a lot of the shoes as part of the reimbursement. And then we did change, so you can see on the other side as well, the maintenance staff at the bottom quadrant there on the left quadrant. It's just integrated into it as one policy. So I didn't review that, I apologize. So that's what we're looking to do, is just add shoes into it and add $15 to it. Under the verbiage that is on the right hand side. Yes.
How can we come up with the increased number?
It's what's currently being offered to maintenance staff. So we're just looking to add that amount so that it's.
Okay. Which makes total sense. I'm just wondering if it matches the inflation rates that we've been having.
We collectively, I feel like we all feel that this, in general, this policy is a little low. Other providers are looking at a range closer to probably 100 to 150.
Yeah, work boots are like 200 plus now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Has
That
your
was just like-
insurance carrier said anything about not having steel toe boots for maintenance folks? No, look up.
No, I meet with them once a year and it's just a non-slip.
Yeah, that's all they care about. Cool. And you guys have never had an incident necessitating? Great. Yeah, this seems pretty straightforward.
And I was just gonna ask, I don't like making presumptions, but where it says drivers and maintenance staff may be reimbursed $75, does that apply to both full-time and part-time help?
This is full-time year round.
Okay, because, in the first paragraph,
No, that's for all staff. That's for all maintenance and driving staff.
Okay.
full-time and seasonal.
Full-time and seasonal.
And full-time, part-time, seasonal.
Yeah, because
Okay.
That's why I would like it, where we don't have to presume which group is just full and part-time, will be.
It's always been everyone.
Yeah, no, that was the question that came up, I have to make a presumption.
So then does that first sentence ring true, all year
Yes.
round drivers?
Yeah, it's the second one, then it's after that, it talks about, seasonal drivers and maintenance staff will be issued uniforms. So we addressed, one group, then the next group, then we went into reimbursement, but we didn't say if both those groups were eligible for that reimbursement. And it's just nice if you don't have to presume, because that's the case. And that's the same, and where we get into the shoes, because there's a separate section for drivers, I think that should also say maintenance staff, because the shoe policy we're talking about here in this is just for maintenance staff. It's not for the drivers, because we added a section 2, which covers the drivers, the shoe requirements for drivers.
Yeah.
So we have, and I don't want to read and wonder if that's for both, but.
So should we keep them broken up, do you think?
Well,
Rather, so it's clear and concise, if I'm on the maintenance staff, I can go to that section, look and see exactly what that benefit is.
yeah, that's an option. I don't like seeing it fractured, and obviously right now it's fractured because, that's broken into a group with, the clothing.
Mhm.
We're talking about shoes, and then we've got another
It's
shoe
specific
section for, as targeted group of employees.
I think the shoe section came about because it wasn't for the drivers. It was always, so we forced the drivers to wear uniform, and then we helped them pay for the bottom half.
Yeah.
And the shoes were never part of it, but we've never had a slip policy. So some drivers in summer wear Crocs, which are, can be pretty crazy.
This derived from the safety committee, taking a deeper dive into this policy.
And my only point was, I know finances are tight. I didn't know if it's possible to round it up to 100 because that seems quite low. You're talking pants, you're talking shoes. I think 100 still, it'll be a lot. You'll still be taking out your own personal pocket, but.
Could I bring 2 different figures to the board maybe and have them,
I would,
it's so nominal.
I know.
So if, we're talking, it's just round up to 40.
It's for.
25. Yeah.
15.
Yeah.
I just think it would be a nicer offer at 100, but.
Absolutely.
And it's still gonna be out of pocket, so.
Yeah.
Right. Right,
So we'll, okay.
if that's not a financial burden. for you
Yes,
guys,
that's my, honestly, if it's a burden, then no, but.
Not everybody uses it. I've never used it. Oh, I can't help it. When I was driving, I never used it.
Right.
You never used to reimburse.
Yeah, a lot of people don't even.
Yeah,
I mean,
just
they have boots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So bring it up to
They
100
probably go now with sneakers.
and we'll separate the two.
Okay.
So that's clear and concise on what the policy is for each.
Did you see this though? No Crocs. You be okay with that?
I used to wear Crocs. Well, we do have some drivers and I'm like,
If
man, water's like,
yeah, and if you needed to get out of the bus and do something, yeah. I get it, if I were driving all day, I'd want to learn too.
yeah, no, it was great.
Good question. Why would the drivers have to have a slip replacement and the maintenance should have?
Why the maintenance shouldn't have slip replacement?
Well, no, in the regulations, it says, that, for the drivers, for the maintenance, the soles of the boot should be oil and slip resistant.
Right.
And then for drivers, it says, shoes must have slip resistant and oil resistant soles.
That's.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll
should
change
it be,
I think.
then, yeah, should it be,
Yeah, it should be.
Slip
Slip
resistant.
resistant.
yeah, okay, for both of them.
No Crocs, big.
Okay, well, thank you. Those are great. You'll see those at the board meeting. Are you gonna?
Yeah, no, we'll, entertain a motion to recommend to the full board
Do those changes.
with those changes.
Second.
All of in favor?
Aye.
This is, well, that's efficiency.
Feeding right along.
All right, financials, and I think those themes.
We're looking at the financials through January. We have expenses through January and we're still up about $39,000 for the year in operational expenses. Good news too is we submitted our audit last week. It's still gonna have some deficiencies on it based on, obviously we're looking at 2020, fiscal year 2025, when there was nobody here. So we did have some issues, but the good news is it is submitted. All of our explanations were submitted, so we should be seeing that at the next meeting. And
Nice.
the auditors will be here to present.
Great.
So, just a quick, I want to give you guys a preview of what, working on for, Kylie, could you bring up that spreadsheet?
Yep.
That I just sent over?
Yeah.
This is our massive projection spreadsheet. There's about 70 tabs on this. They all talk to each other. So what we're trying to do is project the year end. You'll make that a little smaller so you can kind of see a little bit.
Where are you trying to go?
Make it smaller so you can see more of the columns.
Oh.
The other smaller.
Bigger.
So that's a little bit, but what we're trying to do in here is we're trying to rebuild our chart of accounts to more accurately reflect our expenses. In the past, we've kind of lumped things together. So if you scroll down a little bit, you're going to see when we're looking the budget versus the actuals in our projections, we're adding in new, scroll down.
I'm so sorry, how do you want to freeze this? I'm not Excel person.
Get out of my chair. So we are trying to, it's not my keyboard either. Trying to do a lot of notes, which will be going over with Jade or need to review expenses. We have a lot of stuff on here that is miscoded to the wrong direct expenses, such as water and sewer. We had all going to admin when technically probably about 75% of our water goes to washing our trucks. So that should be in PM. And one of the things that brought all this stuff on was the fact that we don't seem to use a lot of our PM. In federal, we always have a lot left over at the end of the year. So we're trying to even out the grants. Obviously, we're also taking a look at where we are with like O&D expenses and other revenues.
What are the eligible expenses for PM?
Everything to do with the maintenance. Everything to do with the maintenance of the vehicles. So, and we're also looking at breaking more of the facilities down because all the preventive maintenance is direct expense. So we want to capture that a little bit more clearly than it has been previously.
Gotcha.
As well as down in the 8,000s where there's a bunch of administrative expenses. Some of those should be broken out so we can more clearly track our IT, accounting.
Yeah.
Et cetera.
So with the PM, do we typically leave money on the table?
We do. And we started to take a look at the fact that there was just, I sat with Benny for a while last week and kind of talked about it. In the past, like the electricity was all going to admin when literally 80% of our electricity is over the main buildings.
Nice.
The electric chargers and
Yep.
or heaters are running and things like that. We also talked about, which tanks are propane and which are heating oil. We also get a large amount of regular gas delivered there that wasn't even budgeted. Other things we're separating out. In the past, we had the volunteer driver reimbursements, but we also had the hardship reimbursement in the same category. Well, the hardship is completely different.
It's a different category under Medicaid. So we're breaking those things out. Um, Next time you come, I'll have this printed out, really nice big sheet, so you can take a look at all of our questions.
So this didn't even exist under Yvonne,
No, this is really, if
because
you,
I don't remember seeing these codes
no,
being so explicit. I think it's great.
They were there.
Yeah.
They were there.
They
Okay.
just weren't depicted in the printout of the P and L through Passport,
Okay,
but
Yeah.
the accounts were.
the accounts were there.
We won't be able to necessarily apples for apples from the previous to now, obviously,
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
we spread and expand, but,
That's okay.
there was some, when they dumped all the information from the last program to this program, they dumped and clumped, so we're
Yeah.
still combing through some of the
Yeah.
information, so it will look a little different.
so like, yeah, so like, this is the professional services other, which we only have $13,000 booked to, but we budgeted at 75. But then if you come down and look at computer IT, it has 36 budgeted, but we've already booked 93 to there. So we're like, why? So, but people are doing things by rote as well. This is where I put it before.
Right.
So we've been working with AP to try to move things around.
Oh, great.
Is that the case with 8310, Patty?
8310 is dues and subscriptions. Yes, it's the same. The dues and subscriptions, you see my little need to review in here, miscategorized.
Yeah.
We have a maintenance and repair equipment down in admin. And we're like, well, what equipment are we trying to fix in admin?
Right.
So, but there's $20,000 budgeted there. So, we're rebuilding this. So it's.
Does V-Trans want you guys to amend this in a given year
No.
to like redistribute funds between categories?
Yes, if we're overspending in ops and underspending in PM, we can, well, we can shift PM to admin,
Mhm.
but ops is standalone because it's a 50-50 match. The other
Right.
two are 80-20, so those two
Gotcha.
can interdisperse.
So we're always overspending in admin. So if we're finding things in admin that really belong in PM, that might be where some of the discrepancy is.
Okay.
So we're trying to realign this. This is quite a large spreadsheet that goes all the way back and everything's in here month by month. I put the figures in and it all feeds back to the front. So, but then it's also is the budget. This is the current year's, like say the CD expense, and this is something simple. But next year, if we have another CD, all I have to do is figure out categories, put it up here, and it'll go right back into the budget. This is detailing all the expenses by class. We class everything out now by route. This is all the allocation. So we know exactly how much we're spending on the commuter route, how much demand response, breaking out our Medicaid. This is separate grants we have, MTI grant. We have separate grants for, vocational. We have separate grant for training. And we're also keeping better track of our volunteer expenses. The people who work on the volunteers, because a lot of our time and effort goes to the volunteer program. We have people here who basically are full-time coordinating volunteers, hiring them. And we do have some, it's a little low right now because the MTI grant is covering some of that. Because right now, if you know, the MTI grant is geared towards obtaining and retaining community drivers, also volunteer drivers.
So this is budget season. Our plan is to have first draft to the executive committee by the next meeting. So.
Yep.
Working through this month to clean this up and.
Yeah, the only part about doing it this, getting it to a point we want to get to it where we can see all the minutia is putting in 2024 comparisons are going to be a little lopsided in some areas. So,
Yeah,
but better to move forward and get it going in the right direction. So,
The other piece too is the capital.
yeah, the Capitol's being built right now. These are the buses we got this year. As you can see, that's local match just for those buses. So this is what we're really also trying to capture, very carefully is what we're pushing out in local match, not just for these grants, but we have other grants where we have, are we collecting enough local match? Because we also have 4 more buses coming in. I don't know if they're all gonna come in before June. But
Do you like heavy duty insurance? Is that a bus that crashed?
yes. Yeah, we did, there was adjustments here. You can see there's a note here about the insurance. So as you can see.
So that went away.
The local match is, yeah, it's a little bit better than some of the other bigger buses where we had to really send out a lot of money. And
Well, but there still was a match. on the insurance.
yeah, we still had a little bit out of pocket. They gave us, it was 244,000. I'd have to take a closer look because when they sent it over from the state, I don't know if you know Sue from the state, she had to send over the breakdown of the insurance. It was about this long. It's like, how do you guys do this every day? The other thing we wanted to report is we had told you guys a few months ago, there was an issue with an overbilling from January, June of last year. That the auditors caught, and through a bunch of magic, actually the overbilling was 480,000. Through a bunch of magic and generosity, the state has knocked that all the way down to we only have to pay back 100. So, yeah.
What category was overbilled?
There was ops. There was a misbilling from January to June, I believe it was, in the old system in Passport, it looks like all the allocations were done inside, but once you did them, there was no way to like dig down and see where they were going. And then after that was done, the financials were pulled out, and then there was, if I could show, I don't know if I could show, I don't have anything here, but if it's a physical copy, Yvonne would take all these numbers and minus it from here and plus it from there, and Sarah missed a few. So there was a lot of them, but we were, you know, but it, you know, God love her, if that's all mistakes that were made with everything that was going on there,
Sure.
with the stress of not having anybody in my seat and other people's. Jane having just started, I mean, it was a lot, it was hell. I don't know how they made it through. So, but the state has been extremely helpful. I worked with Tammy up at the state most of the day on Friday redoing some of the older invoices. The auditor has all of the new information and they are awaiting their, what do you call it? What do they call them at the auditor's office? They send the audit out to, yeah, quality control. Quality control has to tell us how we're going to book the overpayment. We have to send the money back, that we have to book it certain way because it's a previous year entry, so. Everything's being straightened out one little piece at a time.
Hey, you eat an elephant, right?
One little piece at a time. So that's where we're at.
Thank you for all your work on, I mean, it's really nice to see such a professional, like, way of breaking everything down and tracking it.
Thanks, Heather.
Was looking at that volunteer line and then the O and D line. I think it'd be possible in March or April to have the O and D team come and present the board as sort of a, it doesn't have to be, it could be any time before the end of the fiscal year. Just be like, hey, this is where we're at, you know, compared to last year, expenses, rides, all that stuff.
Absolutely, I'm sure the board would be very interested to
Oh,
see what
yeah.
it's been like for the last year.
But I have not heard of Pete, and I consider that a good thing. So we had all these partners up in arms, and I think if people weren't getting rides and things were falling apart, we would have heard about it. So, it's great.
It's been going very well, and Christie has been ensuring that the communications have stayed strong, and the understanding that the group trips that we were providing through the partners are now, that we're still providing, the partners will be implementing 20% match to that this coming fiscal year. So we'll be
Awesome.
drawing in some more local match from those organizations, which will
Good.
be nice. So she'll come and bring a full report. April would have the budget, the first draft budget. That might be a real heavy meeting if we do
Yeah.
that. May. May would be looking at the final, yeah, okay. So like the presentation. There was another piece of this, so just a share, so at the end of this month, we'll have 6 more days of the winter season, which is, where all of our local, the majority of the local match comes in from Killington. So that will hopefully carry us through, but we are about all of what, 30,000 for this month left of our state. So we'll be matching all of our federal funds with local dollars from here on out.
Yep.
This is this last quarter is gonna
It's gonna be
it's gonna be the one.
Sorry, does that take into account for payments that we have received? It's like the outstanding, like.
Yeah, because the AR is all, it's all in the AR, so the
So
revenue
it's
is
accounted,
correct.
sorry.
Yeah, it's already accounted for in the revenue.
Okay.
Do you think, how do you think, is the season still gonna end?
Yeah,
You know,
they're probably gonna reach out for that, that is. Which will,
I was gonna say, if it goes beyond that, we do a bill next year.
Yeah.
Cool,
Yeah, I think they're gonna be going pretty late this year.
yeah,
got a pretty nice face up there.
They do.
that's good. They have added some service already, so.
A little bit of money, yeah.
Was it one more cost, right, for the shuttle at the base?
The afternoon, 4 or 5. They did add some added service Saturday and something.
And Mom's been working through, working on summer, winter, the upcoming summer, winter, so. That's the curious. So a lot of information on that too, hopefully lock in what it's going to look like well in advance, you know, exactly what the service is going to be.
Mhm.
On that, we'll know in the months to come, or at least the month to come.
It's always a last second. I don't foresee any afternoon service up until like June. Or Easter, June, it's their private service.
Yeah. Okay. All right, fair re-implementation.
So we have been asked from the board at the last meeting to look at what it would be like to have the fares be consistent no matter what trip somebody was taking. So I'm gonna hand this over to Patty because she did the work on this, and it is, it's in.
We started looking at, we kind of used 2025 ridership as a base for what we were looking at. And what we looked at is, as you know, in the past, the fixed routes were one price and the commuter routes were another, and then of course we had passes. So we did go back and look at the last time in 2019 that we actually had a full year of fares. And what we found was we were able to find the cash deposits and the credit card deposits, a little few of those and some coins, but we weren't able to find passes. And since passes were at 50%, we just kind of decided to take that we'd be getting 50% of the revenue for each ride. Each number of rides. And that's what we based our income projection on. The first, if you look at this page
Yeah,
here,
page 6 and
this is
7.
pretty much the page we're gonna look at. The rest is kind of a little noisy. But if you look at the last page, this is the combined income projections. The multi-rate is what we have now. We're gonna have $1 for the fixed routes, $3 for the commuter routes. And obviously we'll have the passes that are mostly 50% off at a bulk rate. That would, we predict about $332,000 in income. If we do a $2 per ride across the board, it's gonna pretty much come out the same thing, about $348,000. And if we charge $3 across the board, after expenses, we come up with an income of about $555,000. Now, obviously, we sat as an SLT and talked and said, is it fair to charge $3 a ride for somebody who's going from, Hanford's to say down the street to their house, probably not, especially when another person on a commuter bus is going all the way to Danby for the same price. And you kind of think about the folks that are in town that are paying the dollar, those are the neediest of our folks. I mean, I would think most of the people going to Manchester or to Middlebury are probably going there for work or some other reason and don't. So we didn't feel like across the board fares were, we feel the multi-rate is still the best way for us to go and still get a decent amount of income. Remembering that we have to, we have to, 50% of that has to go back to the state. And I'm not sure we discussed this at the last meeting, but we have hooked up with a company called Elevon, which has a credit card system called Converge. They specialize in municipalities. They were recommended to us by our bank. And they have no service charges. The service charges get charged to the rider for their credit card fee if they choose to pay by credit card. The expenses we put on here are basically the year-long expenses, what we feel will be admin time, processing credit card payments, the person down at the transit center, manning the credit card machine, or, selling tickets, and any, finance time, keeping track of revenue fares. But we wouldn't have any out and out expenses really for the credit cards except 2 machines at about $600. So.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, last meeting, I don't think the issue was, I mean, we wanted to see what the fare breakdown was.
Yeah.
I guess is helpful. But I think there was more of a concern around the confusion that like the sort of specialized different passes would bring. So like, I think last meeting, it was like, there's one pass if you ride City Fix, there's another pass if you're commuter, there's another pass. And I think folks were like, that, what if somebody wants to ride, City Fix and then jump on a commuter once in a while? I think that was more the issue, and I can't remember where we landed. Is that ringing a bell for you guys? Can't remember where we landed on
I
it.
got it wrong.
Yeah, no, you are correct, and I was. When you just said that, I think that we should bring that 10 ride card back for people that ride in the city, but maybe only ride a commuter once a month or twice a month. I think the driver just flips it. It's a 10 ride card, and I think that's probably a good option for that.
There still is like the universal pass, right, which is any
Right,
ride,
right.
any ride, okay.
I think the demand would be created when Walmart was, commuters are going to the transit center, and then they go on, get on the city
South Road, yeah.
to get to Walmart.
Yeah.
And come back.
Mhm. Yeah, that's very likely.
So,
And I also think, like, there's thousands of people who live either in the gut or like off of State Street, Pine Street, that walk right now to Walmart, that will now be taking a bus to Walmart. Because they're not gonna go to Market 32. No.
should with a fancy new super Walmart.
Exactly, where like free everything is there, it's where just people will go, yeah. So they'll take the bus, for sure. This is great, I mean, 332,000 would be amazing.
And with that 50-50, where it takes away directly 50% of what we would receive from the state with ops, could be perceived as a negative, that like we're losing money, but really what we're doing is we're securing funds. We are securing that we will have those funds no matter what the fluctuation is. Right now, they're looking at a 3% increase for this year's budget
Okay.
across the board.
But flat, that's good.
Flat, 3%'s a big deal, but they
Yeah.
they are down, I think it's 0.6% for the state, so about 1%, somewhere around there. So I think that'll be a $60,000.
That's great, though, I was worried with the T fund being down that you guys were gonna be impacted, but it doesn't sound like that.
maybe on capital.
Right.
So,
So, oh, go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say, like Patty was saying, the senior leadership team feels really strongly on keeping that same structure that we had originally.
Mhm.
Proposed only to enhance the equity of people using the city transportation multiple times a day sometimes, so we do see that now.
Sense.
So I thought those machines were coming to us for free.
The first one comes for free, but we haven't, the contract is coming, so they were working on it. I didn't want to say.
I thought you said he was gonna give us two.
Yeah, I think he was planning on it, so I was waiting for the in writing thing.
Gotcha.
I guess see things in writing before she delivers.
Well, I thought it was recording on the big screen right there, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the projection, I mean, believe it or not, guys, we are still waiting for our final addendum from the state, they still haven't finished up there yet. Which is a source of great frustration for us, but they're working hard.
Question for you, back in the years ago, before COVID and all that, we had the system where, for the campus, for the Castleton campus, the students would show their ID or faculty or staff, and that was their pass to get on. And then the university was paying X amount of dollars each year towards the, cost. So is that the sort of option you'll be having again or not?
Yeah, so that's a side piece that we are going to start looking at. I have it on my checklist as business passes is what I have.
Right, business passes.
And so the senior leadership team will start looking at that, what businesses we should be addressing and communicating with. I think we want to make that pretty collaborative.
Yeah.
Rather than just, here's what you got.
Gotcha.
So as soon as we get the okay, on how this is going to look, then we'll be working on that some more on.
Wonderful.
Another piece of this that we had shared was a May rollout. I do believe that is feasible based on what I'm hearing from the team. But we want to put a little bit more consideration in communications and roll out to the communities. So wondering if maybe it makes more sense to say July instead and push it out just a little bit. We wouldn't be looking at those revenues for those last 2 months, but
We projected about 42,000 for May and June. It's a slow one on this amount.
wondering how that. Any thoughts on that as far as the community? If we got board to approve this, March, it would give a 2-month leeway.
Could we do a slow roll if there's the fix? So. Or just the community, so
Discuss that.
yeah.
I was just gonna say, because Billy was so concerned, we've tabled the plan, but we were talking about the municipal fair share plan. Each municipality would pay, and then Billy was really concerned with draft one, the amount of the increase for Rutland City. And hearing that, 50% of the fares goes back to the state, so I wouldn't think we would want to try to get any more money in the shares, but I was wondering, I just wanted to bring it up, could the amount that the city ultimately is going to be raised on their fair share be tempered by what the passengers pay?
Yeah.
He was really concerned about, the climb that they were going to see, the increase and how difficult it would be to get the public to support it. And the first question he felt that they would be asking is, what are the riders paying? And
Although,
I say cut the cord, we gotta do it.
yeah,
I mean, we've got to at some point,
well, no, I'm saying that we have to have the fair.
Yeah.
But I was just wondering if it were, instead of a city at $1, it was $2, might it temper the amount that they might see increased, when we do come up with a fair share, algorithm, and we can say, well, we're getting extra money on the fares, so let's,
well, we will be able to say that either way.
okay.
We'll be able to say, hey, if we reinstitute fares, we did double it. Cause it did go from 50 cents to a
Yeah,
dollar.
okay.
But I see what you're saying, and, you know, my struggle with Rutland City is the aldermen and the voters are a bit different in that the aldermen tend to be quite fiscally conservative, but the voters haven't voted down a Rutland City budget in like 15, 20 years, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm wondering if there's less of public pushback than there is a sort of political theater around the whole thing, you know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
But I do think it's gonna be a hard sell no matter what, they're accustomed to paying $46,000 for how long, you know, 10 years, and to see 100, 150, I think they're gonna be like, what, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I agree with you, I think no matter what we throw at them for an increase or not, it'll be a tough sell, so.
I look at it as affordable insurance. When you walk out and your tire's flat on your car and the bus is coming by and you can jump on it for $1 to get your place.
Yeah. Yeah.
For $1, well, it's gonna go up by $2 to pay for that affordable insurance on your taxes for like $3 for a year.
Right.
I mean, come on, right?
Or if you have a family member who all of a sudden needs more care,
Yeah.
now we have a program for that, that we are also funded as access more than.
And I think that is what you guys are talking about right now, I think will directly address Albert's concerns that like, no one from the bus has gone to the Board of Aldermen since I've been around, and just explain. I don't think anyone other than Billy on the bus or on the board knows anything about like how many people take the rides, what it does, you know, what the other services you provide. So I think just having that FaceTime will probably overcome some of this stuff. And taking in context too of like all these new things are rolling out, we are seeking revenue and, I know I'm curious to hear too, an update on, the sort of, business revenue side of things, if that's been fruitful or at all, or if those conversations have happened before.
Yeah, I had that in other businesses that were where
Perfect.
at this point.
Do we want to vote on this third draft?
I just asked a couple of questions.
Please.
Before,
Yeah.
You know, in that, on page 2. Seasonal access passes that allow riders to go on any of our city, and we might want to change that. It might, those two words, our of to of our. On any of our city fixed commuter routes for one monthly price. Should that be one seasonal price, or that is monthly price?
Actually, you're having a real big thing, right? That's, thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sure, not one thing.
Although there is a monthly version, right?
Yes.
It's probably where I wrote the things that's like,
Right.
just looking for the one on the test.
Oh, I see it, yeah. This is why you're the best in the business, for that stuff. You actually
And then
pick up
on
on,
page 3, you know, and when I think of, you know, on our route monthly access pass, I still wonder, what am I gonna get for it? You know, should it be, I know how many times I ride the bus, which is gonna be cheaper for me. You know I ride it 20 times a month and it's gonna cost me $3, it's gonna be $60 for me to use it, use it on my normal basis. But, when I think about a pass, well, what's the pass gonna give me? Is it gonna give me 30 boardings? Is it gonna give me 40 boardings? Is it gonna?
oh, I'm gonna add the word unlimited.
Yeah, I would, yeah, you know, just so I know that, hey, that's a good deal.
Yeah.
Unlimited access,
That makes a lot of sense.
And maybe getting rid of the all route verbiage and just saying monthly unlimited access pass and seasonal unlimited access pass to sort of align that language so people know these are the same thing. Just at seasonal price, it's cheaper, right? It's $60 cheaper.
But there's not, is there a city fixed monthly access? Because we gotta be able to differentiate those two, right? You wanna be able to know, well, is that the city fixed one or the rural route?
Oh, right, so there is no just commuter route pass, right? You're either city fixed or you're unlimited,
We had changed it. We originally had it as that, but then recognized that
too many passes, yeah.
that, and also the majority of people will come down, hit the transit center, say, I'm, I'm Killington specific, or even Manchester or any kind of commuting, and then need to get to their branch of the city. So, they'll go from there and then maybe take the north. So we wanted to offer them everything instead of them having what you're saying, the passes just to ride the system.
Yeah.
So yes.
So they're, like, is that the whole season pass that we're talking about?
No, there, I think what she was saying is originally there was like monthly city fixed, monthly commuter, monthly all access. I think getting rid of the monthly commuter, sorry.
And then the seasonal is too, the seasonal is all access.
I think we should really have that 10 ride card.
Yeah, that's like a punch pass on.
Yeah, for folks that, only ride the Proctor bus twice a month or whatever, they don't have to.
I think of it like the dump pass in Rutland
Yeah.
now, where like, it's good forever.
Yeah.
You just clip it, it's like a forever stamp, like.
I mean, we still have to realize that it is public transportation, we can't be killing our ridership.
Was that at
It should be
cost?
affordable.
Was it at cost? So if I needed Bacon City a 10 punch would be $10.
I'm trying to think, I want to say I think it was at the $2 rate.
That would make
Based on the
sense.
community.
I think it was at the $2 rate, but there was a weird thing in there where you got like one ride for free.
Like the subscription.
Yeah, kind of, well, just make it a very basic 10 ride card, this is the price. I mean, if people realize what it's gonna cost them, yeah, I gotta come into Rutland, it's gonna cost $2 to ride there and $2 back, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah, sorry, I wrote, I missed what you said, but it was a 10% discount on all of those ride coupons from.
Is that what it was?
We were
Yeah,
taking
yeah.
that off the subscription.
Yeah, cause it said subscription was $6, 10 ride coupons 54, so.
As of July 1, we'll be moving to 10, taking off, isn't that what we?
Yeah, so that's gonna be moving up to.
So these are two different things, though.
This is the past information from years past that I was sharing, and then it going up to 10 will happen in this, I guess, next fiscal year, whatever.
Oh, no, that's just, these are two different things.
Okay.
That's part of that subscription, O&D, all that fair trade side of it. This was the basic 10 ride punch card.
Nope, that's, yes, they're in the same section, but that is what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They're the same.
I know, it's very confusing.
Yeah.
Oh, man, all sorts of things.
Oh, yeah, this is 10 pages.
Oh my.
Well, we had all the, reviews and stuff like the hospital, counseling, and college.
And then another piece of it as well is, there's a base of ridership that we're not even aware of that are accessing non-emergency medical transportation through us. So we're now going to be capturing that because it's going to be at a cost. So we're working with Elaine from BPTA to help make sure that the parameters around collecting funds and how we're going to navigate that is all seen.
I would love to see, and definitely not this year, you guys are doing so damn much, but it would be awesome for in the future for you to be able to add your seasonal pass to your wallet on your iPhone. And then you just, cause like my boarding tickets are on there, like my parking passes, like everything's on there.
We actually, had a meeting last week, me and Tyler, with a company called Token Transit, which is what does a lot of that.
Is the price insane?
They take 13 cents of every, dollar. So you take, yeah, if you take, 50%, like if you get $1, you take 50 cents to the state, 13 cents to them, we're getting 27 cents away. 37 cents.
They had major So,
Yeah, the annual fees, it was $2,500 initial fee to start, then $2,500 a year for system maintenance.
so then there was another.
And there was 800, if we wanted to put machines on the bus where they would just tap, it was $3,000 to $4,000 per screen. Plus $850 a month per year per machine service fee.
Yeah.
So it was so cost ineffective and I was just like, wow,
I
you know,
still think that in the scheme of supplying that level of service, it still competes with the expense of GMBs.
I'm not surprised at all. Yeah, I just think,
plus you have to put Wi-Fi on the buses.
right,
Right?
right.
So just.
I just
Okay,
think-
we were wiped out at that point.
I appreciate you guys continuing, I just hope you continue to explore like the digital option.
This is the problem, that. Send you a picture of that bass.
Well, yeah.
The driver doesn't,
Yeah.
the driver doesn't like, he doesn't know if, you're just doing this to the driver.
Right.
He doesn't know if that's an actual pass or who's paid for it, I guess.
The token transit, when you brought it up on your screen, there was a circle that goes whoosh. Plus it has the time right on the front screen.
Yeah.
So there was no way, you can't take a picture of it because you gotta see that movement on the
Yeah.
screen.
Yeah.
Plus the timestamp was right on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, the same thing with like Apple Wallet, if you guys
Yes.
use it, it's like, it's impossible to replicate, but you have to have some receiving end to verify. Cause like, you're right, if I can screenshot my wallet and show them that and they would get it, but
I mean, I don't know if they're the only company out there. I would assume they're in a couple of major municipalities. I don't remember which ones they were in right now in the Northeast. They were a lot in Maine. But they're in big, big areas with lots of density where they can absorb that kind of.
oh, sure, yeah.
So
When you get the volume.
unfortunately, unless the state was to come through with a lot of money for upping that technology, it's gonna be a little distant future for us, so. Right now.
These passes, are they gonna be like printed on like credit cards? Or you guys do them in-house?
I don't think we'll do it in the house, but I think we need to figure out the exact material and everything we're going to be. Printed, we have the designs and everything ready, it's just what the vehicles talk.
Yeah, that's good, because I think if you print them in-house, that's more likely to get ripped off that way.
They're gonna get ripped out easily.
Ripped off and somebody could replicate them versus like an actual,
Or plastic,
yeah,
you'll see.
yeah, like
Actual, just a record or something.
okay. You had more questions, sorry?
Well, I was just gonna make a comment. Page 4, that last paragraph, about, verifying the bank bags, verifying, that whole paragraph, that's gonna be pretty labor intensive, so don't be surprised if you find out that, that's gonna take some time, making the trips to the bank. I don't know if the person's gonna be waiting at the bank for them to,
We have talked to the bank. They have a agreement where we can just sign an agreement and we can drop off all bank bags uncounted and the fare numbers in them, and they will literally count them for us and then email us the amount of the deposit. So it's sort of a trusting partnership we have with them. We have to sign off on it, where they will tell us, this was route one, this was how much was in there. And we don't have to count it. And one trip to the bank, we dump them all in and leave.
Yeah. And then what's the attestation for verifying their, when it's brought to the financial office? You're not gonna have to do it then, because right here it says that, the financial department,
Yeah, I think that's an older, I think that might be an older thing that they were doing. In the past, the bank bags would come over here, they'd be counted up. And then we had an issue with your coins because
that's,
the cash was going to Community Bank. But the coins were going to Heritage Family because Heritage Family is a coin counter.
yeah, that's good to hear.
Yeah, so
Because,
well, that's
that sentence, says, the community staff will give, Marvin Valley Regional Transit District staff members depositing the bags the amount of revenue accrued on each route. So it made me think that somebody's gonna be there waiting while they count the bags.
No, yeah.
But yeah,
Nope.
no, it's gonna be
Yeah.
electronic, so that's good.
It's
That's
nice.
nothing. So I think that's it.
Yeah, no, that's okay, yeah, I think there's some wording in here that's probably from the old
Where
agreements,
is
but,
the
there's a branch downtown and there's one on Route 7, right in front of Hanford's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
It's too bad it's not where M&T is, 'cause we could literally walk across this,
yeah,
you know. I guess Heritage is really.
And I'll be quick.
Oh, keep going, you're good. Yeah.
You know, on page 5, on the bottom of that table, you know, the asterisk, you know, it talks about total cashless patrons. What's that making reference to? You know, I'm trying to.
one page, I'm sorry.
It definitely
Page
references.
5, yeah, on the bottom of the table, there's an asterisk.
So that's saying that, so back in 2019 with all the data that we had, it actually flipped. It was 80% of people were using cash and 20 were cashless. Now in 2024, 80% are cashless and 20 use cash. So what we're saying is really, we should have some sort of cashless payment.
So that asterisk, I was looking for something up here at the end with an asterisk that would refer me.
Yeah.
So, okay, that's just a statement.
That's
Okay.
fair, we'll look at it.
And then, you know, the paragraph right underneath it, that last sentence, you know, where are the highlighted tables? You know, and, where's that referring me to?
Under revenue projections?
What's it, that last sentence, we call that. The
think
revenue
it's-
stream that includes fares is highlighted in the above table. You know, in the revenue without transaction fees is in bold.
Yes, we go from the previous version, I
Yeah.
put them in that paragraph, so everything we had about.
Okay.
We're on to
Yeah.
here.
You know, because I'm just looking for it, and I didn't see that. So,
Yeah, the evolution of this proposal, moved pretty faster than.
Yeah, I understand.
So thank you for
Yeah.
catching up.
Yes, I definitely cleaned it up for the
Yeah.
whole
And
board.
the only other thing I would ask is, you know, I don't know if we need a statement in the plan saying that we will review at a time certain, or we just know that this is going to be reviewed to see the impact in 6 months and 12 months, or.
I think I think having like a check dam, it's like an annual look back is super important.
Yeah.
He's saying like, should we bake in a review period?
Yeah.
Of like,
At the
every
end of
year we can look at this and update or adjust as needed.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I know that's gonna be critical for us when we update the municipal revenue too. It's like making a policy to either include those inflation markers or a look back annually, right? So otherwise it just
We'll be
slips.
keeping a very close eye on it because even with the new Elevon system, we give them codes for, you know, what kind of passes we're selling and what routes are going on, so we'll be keeping a much closer eye
Great.
on everything, month by month.
Thank you for the thorough review, Albert. I appreciate it. Okay, new business, other business.
Other business. Okay, so part of the reduction, we had discussed reaching out to businesses. We had created a 50 count list of different businesses in the area that either we drive by or are substantial members of our community to reach out to. We did send the letter out last Friday. So that letter has gone out. So we really don't have much to report, but within the letter, it does say that I'll be reaching out to each of the businesses within this month to move back to that letter. Heather also did some heavy lifting for me and came up with all their board meeting dates and specific email addresses to their leadership and contact information. So we're going to continue to do the best we can, reaching out to them, not giving up on getting in front of the people that we need in order to perform the ask. Ron's ready to go to these meetings with me, so as soon as we lock some in, we'll be on it.
Go.
Yeah, he's ready.
Yeah, and I would say if you're getting, if it's clear at the beginning that sort of like people are not responding well, let us know, we can always sort of retool and Cedar is gonna have new leadership shortly, bringing them in, I do think, Jim and Russ also, like sticking them on some folks with their connections could be helpful.
Okay. Yeah, I hope it's not too,
I'm hoping it's, but
we did add in the tax benefits. So hopefully that's a, as well.
yeah.
Do you want to go? Did you guys?
Oh, no, like when he was saying that, it like tripped my brain, like a lot of places that we go on our routes benefit that business, and we don't really need to go in there.
Right.
Make it, we go in there because we benefit the business.
Right,
We want to bring the ridership numbers now that we're able to get them since October 1st. Definitely go in front of them saying just that.
And I was just hearing, I don't know if it was from you, Patty, but places that were, released or whatever, rental properties, they're actually saying that they have bus service.
Yeah, June Colas.
Yeah, so-
He put a post, he put a post on Facebook Marketplace about an apartment that's available at the House Center. And right in his ad, it says, the bus goes by every hour on the hour. And putting it as a part, as a benefit of renting his apartment.
That was on my part, so we should.
Yeah, and same thing like Vermont Country Store,
Okay.
when they were advertising for helpers, last year. They were saying right in the ad, free bus passes, even though the bus was free. They did take it out of their ads, but, we're saying, here you are advertising and probably half of your workers are going there by bus, so. Give us some cheddar cheese.
yeah,
You've got Mill River Lumber, it's where you live.
oh, they did,
With it?
Yeah,
Mill River Lumber, yeah, but still.
well, when I was there, there was the two employees that they lived over on Park Street. They were stealing bikes every day to get to work. Don't even go there. They bragged about it too. It's like, there's a bus in town, gets you pretty close.
So also, legislature is continually eyeing school systems and shared transportation. And it looks to be that they're keeping that as a focus to loosen that idea behind or no, it's group trips that we can't do because charters, thank you. Just failing my head there. So loosening up on the idea of charters when it comes to schools. As of recent, we've reinvigorated that conversation, as in the past, there's at least 4 different schools, maybe 5, that have reached out to North Valley in the last, year or two. So,
Is it the state that makes the rules that we have to ask? Is it a federal rule that we have to ask, like, free bus, are we gonna do it? It just seems.
Yeah, the idea was not to have public transportation take away.
Right.
But London is school trips.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, yep, and I have a friend who got his CDL. He's got a full-time job just to drive bus, because his kids both drive, they were gonna disband the route because they didn't have a driver, he's like, I'll do it.
Yeah.
oh, wow.
That's how desperate
That's
some folks are,
Yeah. Thinking about getting my school bus in Dartmouth just so I can drive my kids' crew to
Seriously?
wrestling tournaments.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm gonna be there anyway.
Well, yeah, you might as well, makes.
Okay, and then, so. Should we share this?
Yeah, Chris Condon has resigned from the board from Killington. Nothing nefarious or problematic about it, because they have been bought again. They have an entirely new IT system that he has to stand up, so he just has zero capacity to take on this board role. That being said, he's nominating Sam Badusky, who's like their purchasing manager, similar level as Chris from the resort to take his role. I know Sam really well. He'll probably be even more involved in the board than Chris was, and I'm excited for it. So, we should have somebody new on if we're willing. Whether we want to bring them on, now we have an executive committee role, but it's, right. And technically, he was vice chair as well. So maybe not throwing the new guy into vice chair would be a way to maybe retain board members that way, but
Should I be putting something on the
I think so,
vote,
yeah.
vice chair vote, and then is Sam gonna, do we know if Sam's gonna be there? He didn't provide contact information.
No, I do have this email, though, I can.
Continue on to do.
Yeah.
So just another share, the T-28 bill, that's being tossed around the legislature right now, is based around the connectivity of healthcare and transit. Ross McDonald had come to our last quarterly meeting with RNC and shared that, we're really looking to see how to share volunteers, through health facilities, RMC being our closest, but we also do touch with, Dartmouth, UVM, pretty much all of them, right? So the focus in the months to come are going to be, providing, the information on our shared trips and how we can collaborate more with, the healthcare facilities that we do work with, based on the report that came out by the consultant Stephen Powell from Stedman Health Consulting, who does 110% of all things transit for this state, when it comes to consulting, with V-Trans. So that'll be, an interesting edge to, building the relationship with RMC that we have a weak relationship now. We're really trying to build that over the years, next couple of years. So hopefully more to come on that. I did reach out to them, asked them for some funds, talked about our ridership through our quarterly meetings. We're really taking deep dives. We could bring some of that data in if the board would be interested in seeing our RMC data and we're sharing with them in healthcare, or is that a little too nuanced?
No, I think it'd be fine.
Okay, so we're hoping to build a standpoint on, here's the service that we're providing, not only here, but to your satellite areas. It's pretty interesting that, and, they said no on the funding.
Who said no?
I talked to the VP, they are, sorry, I can't remember his, John something. And he sent me, back to RMC's quarterly meeting, so I don't have more information on it, I'm sorry. But,
No,
they did turn me down, so. I guess the only other thing we can do is, hope that the information that we provided to Meredith, she was still under the impression that we were going to, be cutting the service down to an hour. And that we had changed that back due to the community outreach. So she had provided that back, to her team. So we're hoping to hear back from her that maybe there's a change in heart, because I think that original information had caused, we were just providing less service, which, so more to come on that, but it's not promising now, but we're hoping for a future through the T-28 bill with some more collaboration. So,
Can I add to that as
Yeah.
well?
Yeah.
I've been working with Christie on this, community, health.
Yeah.
Oh, God. It's a group in the whole community of Rutland, and the huge topic is transportation. And I've been working on some stuff on the side of my dually brain that I'd like to change our whole structure of how our city works with our transportation. And actually like put some of this cost on the hospital area as to have like that whole hospital block, I would say call it a red block. And if you have appointments at that area, you would call this number or micro transit out that new HVSS system that we're gonna be using. You can set your appointment and we come pick them up and try to fill buses with people once that block area. And then changing the way our route structure goes now to you get on one bus and we hit every stop so you don't have to transfer buses or anything like that. You just stay on the same bus.
So microtransit, really?
Kind of, but have our city fixed, and that microtransit on top. So if you're getting on at Lincoln Avenue and you need to go to the Harp Center, it just schedules that pair of bus or even the downtime for our Medicaid bus. Because we have, if there's downtime, we have people sitting 10 minutes, 15 minutes. They can get that trip to go get that person.
Right.
So it's a little more efficient. And
What group is this that's meeting?
it's the. You had to ask me that. That's the little stuff that I forgot. I just know what it is.
Yeah, who's leading it? You know?
The hospital,
So is this Paul's group?
yes.
Yes, because I invited Chrissy to it.
Okay, that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's on Friday.
Yes.
I think, yeah, Jonah from the Department of Health.
Oh, Jim.
Yeah. But it's Jonah and Paul at this point, sort of thing.
Yeah, it always boils down to transportation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So if we could like develop ways of I often lay in bed and like, this would probably work good, and then I just, my brain starts wandering to different stuff. But I think, with a little bit of work, we could like change the whole structure of our transportation.
I agree.
And help on health, people getting to doctors and, the amount of money that the hospital loses, people don't show up. Maybe that could support some of the transportation, making sure people get there.
So the last, or next to last piece of information I have is, this year, in September is our 50th anniversary. So really after the fairs are worked on, rolled out, and we have that, really streamlined and working well. I think it's really time for leadership to look at what the next 50 years are gonna look like and how we're serving that. Focusing on the infrastructure of the city itself and how we can lean in to support different grants that are being drawn down, as well as our continuing our fiscal health, and then focusing on more multimodal availability to the transportation that we're providing, which aligns well with our MTI grant for this next year.
2 questions. One, I feel like this is a huge opportunity to do some like fun, kind of splashy public engagement to celebrate you guys and maybe do some branding and all that stuff. So I think that would be really great. And maybe having a public event like in the park would be really cool. But also, is this finally an opportunity for us to do like formalized strategic planning? Because I would love, we've been talking about this forever. And I've never been aware of a strategic plan done here by a consultant. I'm sure there has been in the past,
Not that I've heard of.
Yeah. So maybe that'd be something we could write in to the budget this upcoming year and see if V-Trans will bite. This would be great to have a consultant-led planning effort to keep us on task and not have it be RLS. God, they were horrible.
I think, Dan mentioned that back in our management review, something to that effect of what you were just talking about.
Yeah, no, we've had conversations with Ross and Dan about this, that they would support it. I think it was just, was never the right time, and now that you guys have this team and are knocking things over left and right to get done, that maybe it is the right time.
I think we're there, we're coming up on it this year. So that's great, and being the budget coming up, thank you, yeah, definitely. We have a company-wide meeting, which also, you said, you don't ever call a company-wide meeting here. So that's.
That's like all staff?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, be
Yeah.
March 11th, at 5:45 PM.
Oh,
Anybody
nice.
wants to attend?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
We'll-
that in here?
Yeah, yes, yeah,
Open
we'll
up
be here.
the room. Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to go over, the policy changes, so we'll be there and ready for any Q&A. But also talk about, kind of have some fun with it and talk about the 50th anniversary with all the staff as well, so that we can do some company-wide planning around it. Really have some fun with it, and some other various things as well.
You guys gonna feed them?
Yes, anytime.
That's all you need to do. It's the way to everybody's heart.
Well, we
It
did
wouldn't
have
come.
mandatory for do that.
I mean, one driver asked for prime rib.
You did have a few times.
Yeah.
Favorite bone pizza.
Favorite.
Bone pizza.
So that's,
Great,
those are the major things.
wow.
Oh, and then, this year, the state is, and maybe this is redundant, but the state's having, all transit providers go to the simplified allocation methodology. So we're going to be, all of this will run through, the finances, to the state for invoicing in a much more simplified way that matches up with everybody else, which will just things allows for some serious accuracy.
Yes.
From the entire state, not just us.
And some continuity.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah,
good.
that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, because V-Trans has been making us do that for our funds for years. I don't know why it's,
It's just.
you guys have way more money than we do coming in from them, so. Yeah, I'm sure it's complicated.
The simplified? You've been on
Yeah.
simplified?
Yeah. Cool. Anything else?
I have something.
Yeah.
So, I have no idea how many years I served on the board. It's over 10, less than 20. But anyhow, when I originally got on the board, it was the, boss, asked to have somebody represent, Castleton University.
Right.
So Dave Walk nominated me to be on this. I am retiring, June 19th.
No,
Yes.
no way. Awesome.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's been 22 years at Castleton and
The
5 years
last-
up at Linden
And the last few have been.
and the last few have been tough.
Yeah.
Like 2 weeks ago, I spent the entire week at the Linden campus, so it's a lot of traveling. Now, yeah, it's a lot of, so anyhow, so I'm gonna be retiring.
Congrats.
Thank you. And when I talked to the dean of students, she suggested that you folks may want to have somebody from the campus on. She recommended us talking to Deanna Tyson. I don't know if you're interested in that, but she's the VP in charge of athletics, so. But anyhow, so I just wanted to give you the heads up on it.
Who, are they replacing you?
We don't know yet. With all the, I don't know if they're going to, they should.
I was gonna say, how could they not?
They've been talking about rolling it underneath Res Life,
Okay,
which the head of Res Life is like, this is more than one person can handle. And-
yes,
But yeah, so I don't know exactly what's gonna happen.
because you were just positioned in a really nice way. I worry about director of athletics,
Yeah.
it's like really narrowly focused.
I do have an assistant director there of activities. She's amazing.
Okay,
Very direct though. She's.
That's good.
Very black and white.
yeah, that's good.
So, but she's quite good. That's Kayla Laurie. But anyhow, so so that's just want to give you guys a heads up that, June 19th, I'll be retiring.
So will June be your last meeting here?
I assume so.
Okay, sorry.
Mhm.
Well, that sucks, but great for you.
Nice.
So what are you gonna be doing, chopping firewood and then traveling the world?
Traveling.
Trap, yeah, definitely in May, we're actually going back to Italy, doing Northern Italy this time. But, no, really don't know, yeah. Firewood, definitely, taking care of, there's a lot of stuff around the property. But,
You
animal
see
kingdom,
with the chainsaws.
I know. I got hurt a couple years ago, so
Yeah.
tree fell the wrong way.
Broken foot, is that what?
Ripped all the tendons, yeah,
Yeah.
so, yeah, so. Yeah, that was a fun one. No, I'm really not sure. Gotta do something, keep busy. I've already been asked if I'm willing to be a driver for the athletic teams, which they pay you to do, so we'll see. So,
Cool.
yeah, so looking at different options.
Okay. Well, thanks for letting us know, and yeah, if you can help at all,
Mhm.
figure out who could be your
Okay.
successor, that'd be great.
But we were doing, back in the day, I can't remember the first director that I worked with, she was from Belmont. Woman who was in charge.
Minka?
Oh, yeah, Minka,
Yeah.
yeah, so, yeah.
Wow.
It's been a
See
long time.
when did Minka start? Or
There's one
when
start.
she leave, sorry.
She, I think Larry probably switched over in 2011, maybe?
Yeah.
And then Wayne took over.
Oh, okay.
Was it?
No, I thought you meant she was done in 11, I'm sorry.
Oh,
No, she was 11 to 18.
yeah, that's,
Yeah, did a few years with Minka.
so I started with Larry, and Larry was here for probably 3 or 4 years, and then switched.
Just going by the emails.
Yeah, she was,
Yeah, right.
she was a sweetheart.
She was super nice to me, she liked me, so.
She was really funny,
Hey, we need a new girl.
Yeah. Yeah, she used to be big about barbecues and the meetings, she'd always bring in a bunch of donuts for us. But it was really for everybody afterwards, like, one, she had enough so that the staff.
Staff, yeah,
So
yeah.
they always look forward to us being there because they got donuts.
Well, guys, it'd be crazy. Remember, we used to have like fruit and donuts and no
Oh,
one had, or bagels, fruit, and no one ever touched it.
Right,
And you guys would just have this mountainous food here, so, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So you say
Drivers and staff.
Yeah, so those were good times and there was some dark times and now
Yeah.
we've come out of that, so.
Yeah. Wow.
But anyhow, yeah, so,
Thank you so much for
Not a problem.
everything you've done and just sticking with it for so long. It's been hard to retain board members,
I understand.
Oh, sorry.
definitely.
Anyhow, so I think Taylor would be great.
Okay. Yeah, if you could talk to her and
Yeah.
see if that's at all of interest for her.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
Mhm.
All right. Well, let's adjourn at 10:33.
Thanks, Matt.
He's pulled off some good things over the year.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Are they looking for drivers? Yeah, I could run you through the CDL program. real quick.
Yeah. Well, they have one CDL vehicle over there, and I guess they have a real hard time finding anybody.
Really?
Yeah.
And you don't need school bus in Georgia for that.
No.
It's just coach bus, yeah.